Good evening, everybody, and welcome to King Dolphin TV. I am Raymond. I am the ruler of the Dolphin Pod and author of the Dolphin Wars trilogy. I would like to welcome one and welcome all to episode 351, another installment of Fantastic Four reviews. The numbers are off. I don't know what I was thinking, but the numbers are off. We will be doing tonight issues 18 and 19. So that's what we'll be doing tonight. And I'd like to thank you all here. If you enjoy these reviews, if you enjoy upcoming interviews, if you enjoy Just Cuz, and if you enjoy everything else that has to do with King Dolphin TV, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and especially watch the watch hours. We need get these watch times going up there. And if you are so inclined to help out the channel, the tip stream is also up on top of the chat. And tonight FKHC says, don't have Dr. Raymond Boom send Snorty and Trike to collect his money. Pay here. So, and there's the stream. There's the link as well. Put some ducats in the bucket and keep the Trike and Snorty, or Snorty and Trike. Yep, see, Trike's all set. You hear him. Trike is all set to do some collecting. So please help to keep the channel, the lights up, channel going here. Most importantly, again, keep Trike and Snort from doing this to you. Okay. Yep. And as you can tell, Trike is all set to do collecting. There's Snort, there's Trike, there's Mr. Magoo, and there's Little Dipsy, all collecting money for King Dolphin TV. So make sure you make sure you put some ducats in the bucket. And yes, I know I said it. You did that on purpose, Tim. Yes, I did. So sue me. No, I'll let those three come in. I'll let those three shysters come at you. All right. So let us welcome everybody who is here. First off, our producer, Sandra. This is King Dolphin TV in color, stereo or available. A Sandra Feliciano production. Love you, honey. We've got the first one in, FKHC 2005. We got the great Legatus Legionnaire. And we've got Trike. We've got Trike here. And Trike is ready to go. See, there's Trike. But we also got Snortable Pass. Cuber. Dot screen. Hashtag roar. Oh, this is cool. Is this Dr. Doom doing this to me? Is this Dr. Doom doing this to me? I don't know. Have a good show. All right. So, as always, we're going to go our books will be reviewed, and they come from what the hell? Hold on. Good old Gumby. "44 Years of Fantastic Four," the DVD collection. Includes every issue through December 2004, over 550 complete printable comics cover to cover. That's over 20,000 pages, and plus all annuals between that period. So, yeah. Raymond got eaten by Drake. Yeah. He's a good boy. I think that's him right there. Yep, that's his tail. Yep, that's his. There he is over there. And there you heard. All right. He's ready for me to get started here. So let's get started. Again, I miscounted the issues. Last time we did 16 and 17. Tonight we're going to do 18 and 19. So let's get started. Plus, we're getting close to an annual. This second annual. We kind of jumped previously. We did before we did annual number 1, we did the wedding of Reed and Sue. So next time we do an annual, it will be annual 2. All right, so let us get started here. Okay. All right. Tonight, issue 18, the all-powerful Super Skrull. He has all the powers of the Fantastic Four, plus still more. How can they ever defeat the all-powerful Super Skrull? And the very first ad outside the cover is "Boys and Men, my secret new Dynaflex method. You could be muscular in 10 minutes a day with no weights, no barbells, no exercise at all, and no reality at all." All right. So this issue was written by Stan Lee, drawn by Jack Kirby, inked by Dick Ayers, and lettering by Art Simek. And the splash page is they're watching a news report from their last adventure when they took on Dr. Doom. And the newscaster is saying, "Thanks to the Fantastic Four, the menace of Dr. Doom seems to be over, at least for the present. But if you're ever to see this man, notify the police." And Johnny's saying, "How do you expect him to walk around in that gun?" And then they were going to show a picture of Thing, but it got interrupted by a commercial for as your dog had his Tootsies today. Okay. So Ben gets upset, stomps the floor, flips all over everybody. Johnny says the pooches are more photogenic, and Sue's chastising Ben for almost breaking the TV. So next thing, Sue and Reed are going to go on a date, and Ben's saying, Ben's saying, "Where's the swimming pools on the moon?" And what they're going to do is they're going to use their new ICBM, and take a flight to the Hawaiian Islands. And Ben is over there saying, "I'm not babysitting Johnny." So the rocket is on its way. All right. Then they're going to Ben and Johnny are going to do the regular Fantastic car. Johnny's going to tool around, and Ben's going to take Alicia up north for fishing. But meanwhile, up in the Andromeda, there's the Skrulls, and they are getting ready. They are planning to destroy the Fantastic Four. They're still kind of upset that the Fantastic Four screwed up the invasion of Earth all the way back in Fantastic Four 2. So what they've done is they have emptied out the treasury, used all their resources, and they bring in somebody called the Super Skrull. And he is going to go after the Fantastic Four. And what they say is that their powers gave him the powers of the Fantastic Four and more. He can stretch like Mr. Fantastic even farther. He can stretch actually more than 100 miles away. And then he can duplicate the powers of the Human Torch, and he can fly faster, maintain his flame longer. And he has antimatter power. So that's not going to be a good thing. So now he's going to test the power of the Thing. He lifts up this cosmic generator which powers the entire planet, which is 100 tons. And they figure that the most the Thing can lift is 5 tons. So obviously he is stronger than the Thing. And then he can turn invisible like the Invisible Girl. And then he's got an additional power which Sue does not have. And he's promising that the Fantastic Four will be destroyed. And a week later, they're in a shopping trip, a shopping center. Sue's going to look at fashions. Reed's going to look at books. Johnny's going to be Johnny. And Ben is going to buy a bowling ball. So Ben crunches tries out a bowling ball, and the guy says it would fit even a gorilla, but then Ben crunches it and walks away. All right. So the first ads, you can get a Lincoln Penny album where they'll pay $150 for when it's filled. So you can do coin collecting at the Center Coin Company. And then you can record your voice at home for only $7. Fun for the whole family, 10-day free trial. You can make your own records anywhere. And what this is a good 20 or 10 years before they brought cassettes where you could definitely record or even reel to reel. So yes, okay, let's see what everybody's saying here. Okay, all we got is a squirrel. Okay, so there are the first ads. You can record your voice at home. All right, so then some admirers start mobbing Reed, Sue, and Johnny, a la the Beetle. And Ben's over there going, not sure why they're not coming, not sure why they're going after the team. So Ben stretches Reed, and they rescue Reed and the others. And they're trying to hide from the crowd. Sounds like the when the Beatles were invading, and then they get a radio bulletin saying that there was an alien spaceship landing 5 minutes ago. So the three are getting ready to go on. So Johnny flames on, Reed bounces, Sue turns invisible, and Ben probably goes Ben. Ben probably goes all thing on Ben. Except, I mean, Sue turns invisible, but there's her suit. So, oh well. And then there's the Super Skrull on top of a spaceship claiming the planet for the Empire. And the guards getting ready to come and take care of business. And the Super Skrull, the flag doesn't get penetrated, so he melts the sidewalk with his flames. And everybody's starting to get a little irritated, saying, why is he planting a banner? And he's going to issue orders from the government. And the crowds don't really agree with the fact that he's taken over. So he blows them away. And now here comes the Human Torch. And Johnny's saying, this guy's bigger and more dangerous. And Johnny starts chasing the Super Skrull, but the Super Skrull's faster and flies ring around him. And he turns the air around Johnny into carbon, which means he can't see. All right. Oops. Hit the wrong button. Oops. So Johnny is trapped in carbon. But then Johnny gets away and tries a heat bomb, and it doesn't work. And then the Super Skrull hits him with a flaming club. And Reed goes and rescues him. So Reed decides to take him out, leaves Johnny with Sue, and Sue says even a normal Skrull is dangerous enough, but the Super Skrull, whose powers seem to exceed our own, how can we defeat them? And he's over there going, "Where's Ben?" And Ben is trying to get away, and people are stealing his clothes. And Ben is saying, "It's the females that bug me. My strength ain't no good for me when I'm surrounded by a pack of dizzy dames." And so he gets an escalator. And now the next commercial. More coins. And there are the sea monkeys. Exotic Saskatchewan brine shrimp, which are more fun than a sea full of seals. I think Snortopopos will argue with that one. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Have you ever heard Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge, by the way? That could be a fun interview. Raymond got eaten by Trike. Yeah, I don't know he'd come on this tiny a channel. And Legata says, "Wait a minute, I thought according to the MCU, the Skrulls are part of the good guys. Have the MCU lied to us? Oh, I think they did." Snort says, "Seals? Them. Small, you had to build an extension to the kitty table because of how huge Snort and how many ended up there." All right. So we are caught up with the next commercial. Back to the story. So Ben crunches an escalator and slides out. And he's over there. Reed is saying that he could have caused the torch to plunge to his death, and the Skrull Reed wraps him up by wrapping around him in a straitjacket. But he starts expanding, and Reed had to let go. And the Skrull is being arrogant, saying, "I'm mightier than all of you." And Reed says, "That's the first round." And then he turns his hand into a sledgehammer, getting ready to pound him. But the Super Skrull pulls a bunch of rocks and then makes it into a shield where Reed can't get through it. And so Reed was injured by the shield. And the Skrull's ready to finish him off, but there's the thing. He hits the Super Skrull, and he's saying that the Skrull's strength is stronger than the thing, and he says, "Why do all the cornballs I fight make speeches whenever they toss a punch?" So then he turns into a battering ram because the Skrulls can change their bodies, and now he becomes a battering ram. All right, So now, the next one. America's most lovable characters from the House of Mouse. 10 king-size latex toys standing from 15 inches to 3 feet tall, all for $1. You can get Mr. Mouse, Dopey, I think that's Cinderella, Peter Pan, Pinocchio, Zorro, Davy Crockett, and Donald. Oh, and Jiminy Cricket. So for $1, you can get 10 latex toys. They always land on their feet, swinging and swaying in every direction. Oh, and here it says from 12 inches to almost 3 feet tall. Okay. And then there's another coin. They sure want to get rid of coins. Could you imagine with inflation how much these coins would be? Right. Since when is 11 inches tall and 1,500 pounds huge? I don't know. Look at it, says, you want to ask that question to Pudgy? Yeah, I know. I didn't catch it this time. I'm surprised I didn't get a banner notice. Yeah, well. Okay. Hello, Phantom Outsider. How you doing, pal? Okay. Phantom Outsider. Who says, well, Snortapoopus the Giant Man, this time you'd be like a teddy bear. And Legata says, well, Snorty would be considered gigantic by Pudgy. Yeah, that's true. All right. Let's close this and go to let's continue with the episode. And Reed is saying duck and gets bopped by the ram, and who knocks him into the Empire State Building and is rescued. And he tries a flaming scythe to take out Reed. And Reed says, is that the best you can do, copying the Torch's tricks? And Reed turns into a parachute and gets on the ground. And then the Super Skrull is blinded by a Nova Blast. And Sue nursed him. And Reed says, we got a plan. And Johnny says, no, I'm going to stop him. And he's saying, Johnny is saying, all your Skrulls are good for is copying people. Well, we'll show you how much better the originals are. So he goes after the Super Skrull, but the Super Skrull turns invisible. And then uses a fire chain to trap Johnny. And Johnny gets caught, trapped down by Reed and pulled away from the chain. And so the problem is alone they can't match the Super Skrull. And Sue's over there saying she hasn't, she's useless. But Reed is saying nobody could do anything either. So here comes a police copter, saves the thing, and and he made himself invisible and is going to shoot arrows at the team. Reed wants to get them to the headquarters and get a plan. Johnny is still a little cocky, and so he's letting them go back to the headquarters, and he's going to finish them off. And Johnny, or the team, is starting to trying to work out a plan. And Reed figured out that some power rays were being beamed to Earth from a fifth quadrant. So he's suspecting that the power rays are being beamed to the Super Skrull to make him powerful. And so he creates a jammer. And he tells the Invisible Girl to put the jammer on the Super Skrull. And Ben is saying, what if it doesn't work? And Johnny says he'll apologize. So Sue uses, Reed uses a remote control address or public address system, and they threatened him in final combat, and they're going to Crater Isle using the Pogo plane. And they land so that no one can be injured during the battle. And the Skrull ship, is already there. They're saying this is the forerunner of America's famous X-15 rocket plane. It's half missile, half airplane, and glides to a perfect target. The Skrulls are watching the battle, and they are going to use the power at full intensity. And they want to give him maximum power. And now it's time for them to take on the Super Skrull. But they're trying to be the distraction so Sue can get unnoticed. So let's see what happens. Next, commercial. Grog grows own tail. Plant a tail outside, and it grows like mad to a beautiful shade tree. Grog, amazing prehistoric monster, comes with half a tail. In a few days, the tail starts growing. Grows. Remove the tail from Grog's body and plant it outside, and becomes a shade tree. Oh, in about 20 years. And it's only $1 plus postage. And there, of course, is Grit. I wonder I never found out what Grit was. I know it's a newspaper, but I never figured out what were the stories that it had. So, anybody know? Okay. Let's see. Hey, Fez, how you doing? Okay. All right. See, antagonizing stupid Skrull to going Nova is not a great plan. Easy when Sue puts a force field around his head and he passes out. She hasn't been able to figure out force fields yet. And then there's the story. A Skrull walks among us. The Skrull Emperor sends the Super Skrull, a Skrull possessing all the powers of the Fantastic Four to conquer Earth. And I always referred to him as a stupid Skrull. He always felt the need to announce himself instead of head to Fantastic Four headquarters invisible. Look in window, see them, then go Nova. Only need to deal with Torch then. Well, I'm sure he didn't think much of the Invisible Girl's powers. Then choke Torch with fire thing hands and call it a day. But that wouldn't make for a good comic, would it? Nope. And I think he was just too arrogant to get past Sue's powers, formidable as they are, even though at this time they still are just invisibility. Okay, next. Oh, don't miss the Avengers, Earth's mightiest superheroes, going after Loki, another big one from Marvel. All right, and then various and Sunday shop by mail thingies. You can hypnotize, magic tricks. They want poems and bunches and bunches. Yeah. All right, so they're starting to fight the Super Skrull, and Sue turns invisible. And the Super Skrull has hypnotism and blinds Ben and goes after Torch. And then Reed. And he's going to take it. And Sue gets over there and puts the jammer on the Super Skrull. And the Super Skrull loses the power. He says, "What's happening to me? I feel strange, weak. It's though my strength is being sapped. It can't be." And they're saying, "It's not making contact." And they keep trying. And they keep trying. And they say they've beaten us again for the last time. And then he is trying to track Sue. And the Super Skrull is trying to find her. Reed rescues her. I don't know how he's able to see her. He's probably just whipping in the wind, and then she grabs it. And then he's trapped in the crater, and he seals the crater up with the flame, and there's an airtight dome atop the peak. And Reed says that Red Hot Rascal comes in handy. Sue says we all have our uses, and Ben saying I'm making it a great paperweight. And so that is the end of issue number 18. Let's see, any more ads? Two more. We got annual number 1, which we've reviewed earlier. And then Strange Tales with the Spider-Man taking on the Torch. And then there's the fan pages. Okay. And then coming up, the X-Men. And then special announcement. The FF Annual comes on sale very soon. There will be a Strange Tales Annual with the Torch taking on Spider-Man. And then the beginning of the Avengers. And here you can hypnotize. You can hypnotize. I wonder what a hypnotized Snortopoopas would be like. Here you can repair auto engines. So practical that many students earn money repairing cars in their spare time while training for a top paid job in their own business. You can get a Viso analyzer, whatever that is. You get an engine tune-up kit and a bunch of tools from CTI. Wonder how much that would cost for all that stuff. And then 100 toy soldiers for $125. I remember those. You get a Foot Locker and you get all these toys. All right. So that is okay. Phantom says it was the warrior mind that being invisible is somewhat cowardly, but don't say that to Invisible Kid Girl or Space Ghost or the Klingons or Romulans. Yep. And Snort says, Z. Fez's work listening in while restoring a door from an 1850s railroad car from the D&H Gravity Railroad. Cool. Hypnotize Snort. Cue the chicken dance music. Just kidding. I could see Snort doing the chicken dance. Let's see. Spidey versus Torch was, I think, Peter Parker was talking to Torch's girl, Doris. So, of course, Jotty needed to bully Peter because that's what the heroes do. Now, on to issue 18 or 19. Issue 19. All right. Rolling video to capture. Let's see. But the Predators, aka Yacha, use such as part of their warrior code. Hey, Lenron, how you doing, buddy? At work, but sort of here. Cool. We're getting ready to do the next issue. And Phantom is saying, rolling video to capture chicken dancing Snort. Snort says, the last chicken dance I saw was a wedding years ago. There was alcohol involved. I don't doubt it, my friend. I don't doubt it. Okay. Issue 19. At the Fantastic Four is at the mercy of Ramatut, the Pharaoh from the future. And Sue says, I never thought it would happen. Ramatut's ray gun is made helpless slaves of the Fantastic Four. And Ramatut says, there, Susan Storm, there is what happens to those who defy me no matter what powers they possess. Dun, dun, dun. The exercise guy. The fabulous Fantastic Four find themselves prisoners of the Pharaoh. Weaponless, defenseless, trapped in the long-dead mysterious past with only their unique powers to help them. The Fantastic Four face the most totally unexpected menace of their career. Surprise follows surprise until you reach the Meg. Until you reach the mind-staggering climax, which is waits you begin. Within. Written by Stan Lee, drawn by Jack Kirby, inking Dick Ayers, and lettering S. Rosen. Sue looks like she's ready to go Hassan chop. Actually, she does know judo. She's not totally powerless. Okay, so let's begin. The Fantastic car is flying around, and they're looking for the thing. They shot the flare. Sue suggests Alicia going to Alicia's building, and Johnny's thinking they eloped. And the Fantastic car lands, but he's not there. So Sue's saying, "Man never around." And Johnny flames on and looks for the two of them, and he sees them. And she says, "It's funny when you see them both together like that, you forget that he's the thing and that Alicia is blind and that they look like any lovesick couple." And Alicia is saying, "Hope they don't come from Yancey Street in case they're ready to blow up in his face." And his cigar lights up itself. Actually, Johnny helps him out. So Johnny is telling Ben to go to headquarters and bring Alicia. So Alicia says, "Let's go." All right. So they are, so they get there, and Ben, Sue and Reed are checking out some testing equipment. And Ben is saying that Reed's got no right telling Alicia to report with her. She's not a member of EFF. And Alicia says, "Oh, that's okay." And Reed says, "Take the chip off, and that this device concerns Alicia." And Ben is kind of worried about the old friend thing, saying it may look up. So Reed and Sue were visiting a museum of natural history. They were doing some research and he wanted to check on some items. He's looking at some of the items that were unaccounted by historians, and it said he saw hieroglyphics that you had a blind pharaoh, a radioactive herb, and the same pharaoh able to see again. And so he thinks that there was a pharaoh curing blindness during the missing years. So Ben is over there saying, "Where's radioactive herbs?" And there wasn't atomic energy at the time. And then, of course, how are you going to get to the past? Reed can't answer, but suggested they use Dr. Doom's time machine. So Ben's ready to go, and Ben's wants to go now. And Reed says, that's what Reed says, and I quote, "Ben, you hot-tempered, loudmouth, beetle-brained gargoyle, that's what I was waiting for you to say." So they get on the pogo plane and go to Dr. Doom's castle. And they go into the castle, and there's the panel for Dr. Doom's time machine. So Ben is telling Alicia how to operate the device, and Alicia's worried about this and hopes that they come back safe. And then they disappear. They're in ancient Egypt. Oh, Timey-wimey Infinity will have fun with it. So they go to Egypt, and there's the Sphinx. And now they're going to track down this herb. And Reed has no idea about these history this era of Egypt, because there's no record on this. And Reed says that the Sphinx hasn't even chipped. And then here come warriors. And the spears are coming at them. And Reed thinks that these helmets don't belong to this time. Johnny uses his flames to melt the spears. And then Ben just becomes a wall as they make an attack. Back to recording your voice for $6.98 and getting bunches of pennies. Let's see. Lenrod has the omnibus books. Yeah, I do too. I got a recent copy. Phantom Outsider, the start of one of the most convoluted origins ever. Yes, who knows who he is? Fez says Lenrod, Sandra, Snort, FKHC, Legatus, Phantom Outsider, hail and hello, folks, and hail to the trike. Ramatut, one of the identities of Kang, to go along with the Mortis and the Scarlet Centurion. Yep. And in the 60-year anniversary of the Fantastic Four, there's a story with all of them in it. We may have to check that one out later on. It was in this story that it is implied that Ramatut might be a future descendant of Doctor Doom. Problem is he's also implied that he could be a descendant of Nathaniel Richards. And when I stopped reading, Ramatut was the son of time traveler and Reed Richards' dad, Nathaniel Richards, as Reed's dad was also Nathaniel, but maybe younger Nate had a different initial than Dad. Yeah, this is a very convoluted guy. But I guess that's what happens when you deal with timey-wimey stuff. All right, so Ben ties up the soldiers, and Stu says there's more coming in chariots. And Reed starts twisting and turning and messing up the chariots. Sue becomes invisible and flips out of the way and lets them gather. And then Johnny uses his flame heat, but then he loses power. An air vacuum douses his flame. Ben was going to use a tree to clobber him, but then he loses his strength. And then Reed loses his stretching powers. And then Sue becomes visible. And gets weak. So the Fantastic Four were defeated. They end up then in a castle with in front of the pharaoh, who says, "You're in the presence," and here's a monologue. "Here's the presence of Ramatut, King of Kings, Master of Men, Lord of these." And he is fully aware of the Fantastic Four. And they're all in shock. One, he knows about them before they were born. Two, they're talking English, and Reed's trying to get an explanation. Ramatut now shows that there's a weapon that sapped their powers, invented in the year 3000. And so he is a time traveler, Ramatut. He came from 3000, enlightenment, peace, progress, and he hated it. He was an adventurer. And he said, "Why was I born into an age when the only excitement a man can find is in watching stereo visions from 1,000 years ago?" And then he saw the Fantastic Four. And then here's the first inclination that it could have been Doom. He goes to Doom's castle and gets the time machine. And then he builds it into an idol. Primarily because the people back in the Egyptian times were superstitious, so he made it into an idol to scare him. So he goes to loot in time. He lands in Egypt with his Sphinx, scaring the people. And he landed, it was damaged, and then he became blind. So he made them the slaves. They got a rare herb which affected by the radiation from his machine, could restore eyesight, and he ruled their sins. And then Reed decides to try attacking him, and but he was too slow, and he turns them into slaves. More coins, more money, and more sea animals. Right before your eyes, these genuine live sea animals burst forth from magic powder eggs, which will remain alive as long as 8 years. They change color too. I wonder if they could live in my pond. So they are captured, and Sue is also captured, and Reed wants Sue to become the queen. So Ben becomes an oarsman on a sail ship. Reed is an observer for Ramatut's legions. Johnny is a jungler, is a court jester using his flames. And Sue is painted up, all dolled up to be a queen. She wants to escape, but she can't escape that ray gun. But now we have an issue. Ben Rama-Tut cannot have foreseen this. The sun is hotter than that of 20th century New York. Of course, you don't have the smog. Thing starts changing, and he turns from the Thing to Ben Grimm, and the shackles. He can escape the shackles, and his mind and will are not affected by the ray, and so he starts escaping. And he starts fighting with the enemy, fighting with the other slaves, with judo and boxing. Because Ben was no slouch before he became the Thing. He was a soldier back in the day, and then he escapes. He gets to Egypt and he steals a chariot and heads to the palace. And Rama-Tut is gloating. Johnny says, I'm being forced to entertain Rama-Tut when I'm aching to strike at him, attack him, destroy him, but is powerless. And Ben gets over there and clobbers Rama-Tut, and he gets the gun. Rama-Tut has no idea who it is. Okay. And there's the Mickey Mouse toys and more coin. Well, it's got to be the unstable molecules because Ben's shorts were bigger than, the Thing's shorts are much bigger than Ben's. That would have been a wardrobe malfunction beyond belief. Thank goodness for unstable molecules. All right. Okay, let's see. All right, let's see. Okay, let's see. Tim says, I'm back, so he has all the time in the world then. And Fanti says, wouldn't it have been better idea to take the machine back to their headquarters for security reasons, but not, it'll be fine. I mean, time travelers are really bad villains because they know or should history. So FF sneaks on the ship and he put a you-know-what on the ship, and the rocket goes you-know-what on takeoff, does victory dance. Ooh, I didn't say that word. And Legata says, only if that part of history survived for them to explore it. DC has it that people from the future only have fragments of modern history, as most was lost. Or he could in any way disable the rocket from taking off so they don't go you-know-what, but they also don't get powers and are likely arrested for trying to steal the rocket. And it also looks like he squished some of the people. And also, since he must have known about Wakanda vibranium, he arms the Egyptians with future weapons and steals the vibranium. Right? Because what use would the Human Torch be in battle? And also, an oarsman like the Thing would not be an asset in war either. Okay, so Reed's half-brother making moves on his brother's future wife. What kind of family was Reed's dad raising? Way, way bad parenting. Huh. Pretty good idea. And Legatus, you have a time machine. You can get history books from that era, like 10 years after the Fantastic Four's appearance. There would be that information. Yeah. All right. timey-wimey stuff. Okay, so Ben has got the gun. Ramatut can't figure out who Ben is. And then Ben starts turning into the thing. He blasts Sue. And Ramatut tries to get the gun from Sue. I got the banner. Okay. So Sue's got the gun. She turns invisible, but she's not wearing the unstable molecule costume. So she fires at the torch. He's free. And he starts blasting with the fireballs. The Ramatut starts running. He has the old hidden passage. I can escape from anything as long as I got my secret passage. Oops. Sorry, I had a cough and I turned it off. Okay, so the trio was free. Johnny goes chasing after Reed. Reed is a shield for Ramatut's army, but Johnny frees him, and they go to Ramatut's castle. Now they have to try and find him. And they go to, he says he went to the Sphinx, and they start heading to the Sphinx, and then Johnny tosses the ray gun, and it is zapped. Johnny bursts through the top of the ceiling, and Reed sees the control panel, but no sign of Ramatut. And then there's a screen. There's a screen as the four are going to take a look at the screen, and Rama says he's going to destroy the Fantastic Four. And then water starts coming in, and Ray tells Johnny to use flame at the open main. And they're trying to find him so they don't defeat him. And there's Grog and his tail and Grit. Grog and Grit. Grog and Grit. Grit and Grog. Let's see. But Legata says, wouldn't the TVA from the MCU stop you? Yeah, I was muted. I was coughing. I was coughing and had a mute. I'm sure you don't want to hear me coughing. Because no, you fire him and you now run the TVA. Okay. All right. Get rid of the banner. And go. The X-Men. First issue of the X-Men. But remember, the Fantastic Four were the first. X-Men versus Magneto. More stamps, more magic tricks, more mail. Reed is going through the core of the Sphinx. Ben is just going to burst through the walls. Johnny flies through the laboratory. And they get to another time machine. And he says, you'll be too late. Within seconds, I'll be gone. Another dimension, another age. And the missile launches. He's going to leave the Sphinx there to mystify mankind. And Reed says, this is why there's no reign of no records of Ramatut's rule. Okay. And Reed is saying his ancestor, Ramatut's, Ramatut's ancestor could have been Dr. Doom. Or Ben is saying it could have been Doom himself. And they detected the restorative, and then they're getting ready. They're getting ready to escape. The Pharaoh did an explosion to get rid of all the equipment, so now it's just an empty statue. Okay. And then they go. There's the time machine, and they're back home. And then they tried to. The vial was gone, and Reed said that it wouldn't transfer anything with radioactive from the past to the future. Reed is saying now that there's a substance that can restore sight, he's never going to stop duplicating it. Alicia is saying everybody back is more than having her sight. And Ben says, you all risked a life to help Alicia, and Ben says he'll never forget that. So, that is the end of issue number 18. And I will tell you this, time travel gives me headaches. Let's see. Let's see. Whoever gets time travel first automatically is in charge of time. And then they add them in the Planet of the Apes. So who's going to go? Oh, no, space travel. Everyone on Earth is rich. We have flying cars and mini polar bears as pets. No, take that horrible future and present away. Because all the mini polar bears can be trained. If the apes ever try to rise up, the mini bears will eat the apes. Phantom says, or Tim says, I believe it. And Phantom says, I mean, ask Snortopupus, will polar bears fight to keep a life as pampered pets in flying cars who have unlimited food to a bunch of damn dirty apes? And Snort says, time travel is so untimely. And time travel, there's not enough time to figure it all out. I agree, Snort. Okay. All righty. So, I think we have a little time. I think we're ahead of schedule. I think we're going to go and take a portion of Fantastic Four, our annual number dos. We won't do the whole thing. We'll just do the first story. All right. Okay. So this is annual number 2. Okay. Okay. All right. 10 minutes till pop culture. Yeah. Well, we'll go. Let's see. All right. Fantastic Four Annual number 2, 1964. Featuring a double-length epic, The Final Victory of Doctor Doom, and C, for all its pulse-pounding suspense, the never-before revealed of origin of Doctor Doom. We'll probably go through the origin for tonight. Just remind me, Legatus, where we stop off for next time. All right. Treasure Chest of Fun. Wrist Radio. Receives broadcasts up to 50 miles with attached antenna. Wear it like a watch. Listen to it like a radio. And that was a good 60 years before, or 50-something years before the smartphone. You've got a midget adding machine. You got a boomerang. Boomerangs never worked for me. I tried using boomerangs and they just didn't work. Okay, and then you got a trick cigar, trick black soap. You can get worms. All sorts of cool stuff in this cover. All right. The fantastic origin of Doctor Doom. Another mighty Marvel masterpiece. Earth-shaking script by Stan Lee, breathtaking illustration by Jack Kirby, epic-making delineation by Chick Stone, and no faking lettering by Sam Rosen. So, Boris comes into Doctor Doom's domicile. And he says, there's a mysterious she who wants him to visit her. So he goes in, he follows Boris through the castle. This is the kingdom of Doctor Doom. The kingdom of Latveria, nestled in the heart of the Bavarian Alps. And then they stop at a location where there's a tombstone. And then Doom says, this is the place where it all began. And then he starts the memory back. There was a gypsy tribe that was at the spot where Dr. Doom is. And someone was looking to notify Victor that his father was being taken to the Baron. And Baron has Doom's father is saying that he treats the sick of his tribe and is ordered to go to see the Baron. This is probably an abridged version from the Books of Doom. And Doom's father goes with the Baron's soldiers, and Boris looks after him. He says he's done nothing. His life has been spent in healing and helping the weak and wellness. And Boris says, but he's a gypsy. So he tries to treat the Baron's dying wife, and is ordered to give the potions but the Doom's father couldn't do anything. So Von Doom's father plans on taking Victor and fleeing right after right before the wife dies. They start going after. They destroy the camp, looking for Doom's father and Doom. Doom wanted to fight. His father just sounded like his mother. And the horse escapes. He is very cold because he's protecting Victor, and then Von Doom is dying of exposure. So Boris takes them back to the camp, and Doom's father says, you must protect, and then he dies. And Victor says, I'm going to be more powerful, strong. I will avenge the death. And then Boris is saying, the world must be protected from the son who wears the name Von Doom. So he is now angry and ready to make mankind pay. And they never told him that his mother was a sorceress. So he got the herbs and remedies, and he was told they were used for good, and Doom said he was hounded and slain. But then he found the box from his mother and saw the potions and strange scientific secrets, and Doom begins learning. And then I don't have the banner open. Oh, I do. So So he does some gifts and stuff, teaching. He doing things for people for a price. And Boris says, "Why pay a small fortune for a worthless fiddle? It was worth it. Because of this device, it was able to make it play." And then it was an electronic control, and when it was turned off, the fiddle doesn't play. And he did other things, such as hair. He had headaches, but the hair disappeared, and a gold statue became a lump of mud. So they caught the gypsy and attempted to do a firing squad, but they discovered that Doom made robots, the first Doombot, and then they started chasing Doom. Doom didn't keep his wealth, but gave it to the poor. And then they chase him, and he uses his devices to protect his people. Soon, people have heard the stories outside of the country. And an American comes to ask Von Doom to come to America. He's offered a scholarship at a university in America, and he heads to America. He meets Reed Richards, but Doom could care less. Reed wants the room with him. Doom wants privacy, and Reed says, "Well, it's none of my business, but aren't you carrying this mad scientist bit a little far?" And Doom says, "Men always think that their superiors are mad." So he's going to find his own quarters. Reed is kind of worried about him. Reed then meets Ben Grimm, and they become roommates. Doom starts making chemicals and sees some stuff with matter transmutation and dimension traps. Reed suggested that he check a few of the equations, but Doom threatens him and throws him out. And then they create the infamous device. He turns it on, and it explodes. His face is damaged, and he's expelled. So he goes to Tibet to seek black magic and sorcery. He was taken in by an order of monks, and he surpassed them. And they addressed him as master. They create a blacksmith, a blast furnace, and they start forging the costume. They put it on. They say, let us know if it pains you. And he says, pain, that is for lesser men. what can pain mean to Victor Von Doom. And then they get the mask. They put the mask on him, and he says, there is no Victor Von Doom, and he will be another stronger, wiser, more brilliant, more powerful, now known as Dr. Doom. He has a device he has a ring device to keep his mask from being removed by anybody but Doom. And then he builds his famous flying harness. And then he leaves. They say, he has left us. Will he ever return? None can truly say. For such a man must follow his destiny no matter where it may lead. And one person says, woe to the world now that Dr. Doom is born. And then the articles about the Doom battling the Fantastic Four. And he swears to his mother that he's going to rule mankind. And then he goes through Latveria, and everyone is worshiping him. And then he goes into the castle and locks himself in the laboratory. So that is the origin of Dr. Doom. But of course, we saw it before in the earlier book that I reviewed. So, and I think at that note, we're going to stop here. We'll continue Annual 2 probably next time after we do the normal issues. Well, I hope you like this. We got a triple threat. We got to see Doom's. We've seen Doom's origin. We see the Super Skrull, and we have seen Rama-Tut. Okay, let's see. All right. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. It's very odd that so many villains have advanced degrees, although Dr. Doom never graduated college, and I doubt he has a medical degree, nor does Doc Ock, but was more literally than Professor Puss. Okay, there's Pop Culture Breakdown. And, okay, we know Doom is an unreliable narrator. Are we sure his dad was king of the gypsies, or dad was just, lying? You think a gypsy king would know how to dress for the winter properly? Your mother was a sorceress. Your mother was a sorceress, and your father smelled of elderberries. Monty Python. Oh, so how does that make sense? Oh, no, the mom was killed for being a witch, so let's neatly pack up all her witch stuff and put them in a box where her kid could one day find it. The angry mob, after dealing with her, burns her wagon to destroy all her witch stuff. Ha! Sadly, the school's Cleveland State University. Wouldn't be surprised. So in the 50s, American colleges were looking for foreign kids that practiced the occult. Must be the MK Ultra stuff. He goes to Tibet and is sanctioned by China. Do a pod rate at Pop Culture Breakdown. Yes. Snort likes it. And that a guy with 190 plus IQ would put hot metal right next to his skin. I mean, he might have been blinded by the heat of oak, but he's smart, right? I see they're starting to get a better handle on what the FF is, and are getting better at getting villains for the FF. Well, it's like we talked back when we had Clobber Times and Raquel. Out of the Fantastic Four's villains, the number one villain is Doom. Everybody else are Pikers. All right, so now we're going to do show notes.
It's time for show notes. It's time for show notes. Yeah, with Mr. Reagan and Sandra too. It's time for show notes. We're bringing it on. It's time for show notes. You've all been warned. It's time for show notes.
All right. Next week, we're going to have Anti-Derivative Jill here. We're going to discuss the Deep Space Nine documentary, What We Left Behind. On the 26th, we have Don Mace and Mysteries with Don Mace. The Just Cuz will be on its usual Saturdays. And that's it for the rest of the month. And Snortopoopas. And he says, take care, every human, dolphin, doggo, Dalek, ferret, eagle, hedgehog, and porcupine fish. TM, a wholly owned subsidiary of King Dolphin TV. All right. And let's see what a porcupine fish is. Ew. That is one ugly fish. That is one ugly fish. There's a porcupine fish. What do you mean? What do you mean wrong show notes? Yeah, it's we've got Anti-Derivative Jill and then Don Mace on the 26th. So that's show notes.
It's time for show notes. It's time for show notes. Yeah, with Mr. Reagan and Sandra too. It's time for show notes. We're bringing it on. It's time for show notes. You've all been warned. It's time for show notes.
The mute button turned on again. So let's try it for a third time. Anti-Derivative Jill next week, the 26th. Mysteries with Don Mace. Just Cuz on the weekend. And there's a porcupine fish. So, all right, let me wrap this up before more Gumby happens. All right. So, we had tonight Phantom Outsider. We've got the amazing Lifeguards. We had our producer, Sandra. Love you, honey. We had the great Fez. We had FKHC 2005. We had the Great Legatus Legionnaire. We had Lanrod. And we had Snortopoopas Cuba. So that is everybody here. Thank you for being here. I hope you all enjoyed it. And we will see you on Saturday for Just Cuz. Love you guys. Be safe.